Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chaz Kayato, and this week's discussion, we're talking about the elements of being an adult student. So, to build off of what we had talked about previously with time management, this is going to be one of the most important and crucial elements of being an adult student. Adult students tend to have multiple responsibilities besides just what they have for their academic requirements, right? Many adult students have careers. Many adult students have family responsibilities like raising children or taking care of parents. So, building off of that talk last time, time management is going to be very, very important for the success of the adult student. So there's a few different elements that maybe we didn't discuss last time that I just want to add before moving on. One of these is the idea of doing bulk activities to help with time management. Uh, Things like bulk prep for lunch, right? So instead of making your lunch each day, make your lunch for the entire week. It'll save you a little bit of time each day, which is time that you can commit to other activities, and ultimately time that frees up activities for school. Okay, so that's just one element of time management that I wanted to add. So another thing that's important to understand is the elements of your program. Okay, some programs are in person, some programs are online. Regardless, there's going to be a critical amount of time that you have to put into that program. So understand how your program is set up, and it will help eliminate time that's spent unwisely. So, for instance, particularly when it comes to scheduling your courses, so I know in my specific program, there's essentially 3 tracks that you have to complete in order to get to the end of the program. So you have your research courses, which are for your dissertation. You have courses that are related to the degree, which mine is leadership. And then there is basically a minor, which for me was curriculum and instruction, or is curriculum and instruction. But understanding things like, well, I can take my leadership and curriculum and instruction courses in any order that I need, and I can double or triple those classes at any one given time in any one term. But my research classes, I can only take one at a time, and I have to do them in a certain sequence. Knowing that will help me plan out my schedule in terms of, when should I be taking courses, and so this is kind of a macro level compared to maybe the micro level that I was just talking about of scheduling a specific week for time management. But from a macro standpoint, you can consider, okay, I know that I need to take XYZ courses. So maybe in the spring or in the fall, you have an extra planning period. So when you have that, you know that I'm going to have some extra time available. I may want to double up on a course. So maybe I take 2 of these lead courses, or I definitely want to take my research course, but which other courses can I add? Or maybe you feel like you need to dedicate just one research class at a time and just solely focus on that. That's fine too. But understanding the elements of your program will help you sort out how much time you need, which, that is macro level, but then it funnels down to the micro level as well. So, also something that can help with time management as an adult is preparing for your classes. So, for instance, if you have access to a syllabus that you can look at ahead of time and understand just how much time you need to dedicate to this class, that will help you carve out more time in the week if you need it. So you might say, okay, this class looks like it's going to be a bit more intensive than the class I took last term. So last term I was putting in 4 to 5 hours a week. Maybe this term for this one class, I need to put in 5 to 8 hours a week. Then you can really manage your time better. So once again, time management, super crucial. So another element is going to be stress management. As adults, stress is going to be very high, right? Academic courses as an adult can already be pretty difficult because you're out of the element of being a student. You've been removed from being an actual student for many years. I've actually taken courses with some people in their 60s that have not taken a college course since their 20s. So you have to relearn how to be a student, and this can be stressful. And once again, you couple that with the stresses of a professional career, a family career. How are we managing these stresses? Because if we don't manage them well, essentially what's going to happen is they're just going to build up. And I've seen this a few times where a student has to take a semester off, take a term off for mental health reasons. And these are real reasons, right? These people feel that they need to step away from their academic journey to focus on themselves for a little while. And you know, you always wish those people the best, but I do think that there is a very high chance of once you step away, it's very difficult to step back in. Not impossible by any means, okay? And I've seen plenty of people do that as well. But once you decide to step away, it really will put a wedge between you and completing your journey. And I just find that usually when people take a step away from any type of activity similar to getting a degree, anytime you step away, it is just so difficult to step back in. So figure out how to manage that stress. One thing that I'll do is I like to exercise. Okay, so for me, that could be running, could be going to the gym, could just be going outside and walking for a bit. But you know, there are studies that show that exercising does help manage stress. So that could be a crucial element of you completing your academic journey just by managing that stress. For some people, it may just be being around family. Maybe you just find joy in spending time with your significant other, maybe children, maybe parents, and that is your stress management tool. Okay, might just be going out and just, you know, watching a movie, just getting your mind off of school, mind off of, you know, maybe other issues that you're going through. But we do need to figure out a way to manage that stress. Because if you don't, once again, it's going to just bubble up at some point and it may be irreconcilable. It may be the case that you just decide that you no longer want to be involved in the academic program because you just feel that you're just overwhelmed. And so we want to find ways to manage that. I know that finding a support group can often be a very crucial element of managing that stress. So, you know, my specific cohort, we have a GroupMe where we will, you know, support each other, spitball ideas when someone's in a bind. But we'll also meet up on a Zoom call every once in a while and just chat, you know, and just get to know each other. And sometimes it just feels good to know someone else out there is dealing with the same issues that you're dealing with, and that, you know, you're not necessarily unique in how difficult the journey may be for you. So finding a support group, once again, it doesn't even have to be the other students in your academic program, but just finding people that you can speak to and just speak your mind and just kind of alleviate some of that stress. That is going to be really crucial. So, you know, we're adults. This is going to be, you know, depending on where you're at in your career, this may be the time where you have the most access to funding for your academic journey. So realizing that, you know, there might be resources out there that you can use that will help alleviate some of those stresses in academic life for an adult. You know, one of these might be tutor.com. Now, this happens to be available through the university that I'm at, but tutor.com is a resource that I've used for paper writing. And so, you know, I'm somewhat versed in English. in terms of grammar and whatnot. I can do a pretty good job, but I'm not in it every single day in my teaching. So sometimes when that happens, there are certain things that you just forget, right? So having a resource, an academic resource that can overlook your work and double check, making sure you're following APA format, or make sure you're not using run-on sentences. This can help alleviate the stress and help you be more efficient with your time. For instance, with Tutor.com, in my program, we have 7.5 hours a month of use when it comes to working on our papers. So, recently I sent some papers off for my most recent paper that I was writing. I would send it off and I would ask for APA corrections. Is there any APA issues that you see in this paper? And so that's up to 7.5 hours that I get back because someone else is going to go over that and let me know, yes, you have an APA error here, and Tutor doesn't actually fix it for you, but they tell you what you need to know to fix it. So it is a time-saving device. I know that some people have paid for a Grammarly premium subscription, and they say that helps them with their grammar issues, and it'll help them know when they need to refine a sentence in order for it to make sense. Maybe they're missing a word because they're typing hastily, and so these are elements that are good for managing our academic load. In addition to like all the other things that we've talked about that are very difficult for an adult to deal with in their academic life. And so other ways that you can help yourself is, one way is talking to the teacher and figuring out what type of teacher you have early on in a term and how they grade. And that will actually help inform either how much time you're spending on a certain subject or a certain class. And more open teachers, you may be able to make more errors and then follow up with them and maybe get some points back, or maybe get a second chance at doing something. If you know your teachers, then you can manage your stress, you can manage your time. So just understand that these are things that you should be considering. So I believe that this gives you a broad overview. I don't want to spend too much time going over things that I've already talked about before, so feel free to go look back at the time management video. I will have other videos in the future that deal with more elements of being an adult student. But if you have any questions, or if you want me to cover a topic that I haven't gone over yet, please comment down below. I appreciate you coming back and watching these videos, and you have a wonderful day.